I am done. I don't deserve this. I really do not deserve this. I deserve somebody who gives a shit.
America's sweetheart hasn't always loved everyone on set. Jennifer Aniston, adored for her charm and professionalism, once admitted there was one co-star she simply couldn't stand working with. Her surprising confession pulls back the curtain on Hollywood's polished image, hinting at the tension and ego clashes that even A-listers can't avoid. This revelation offers a rare glimpse of the drama that can unfold behind the scenes of a hit production. Jennifer Aniston may have built a wide-ranging filmography over the years, but for millions of television viewers around the world, she will forever be Rachel Green from Friends. Premiering in 1994, the NBC sitcom quickly became a cultural juggernaut, redefining ensemble comedy for a generation. Aniston's portrayal of Rachel, a spoiled, fashion-obsessed runaway bride who grows into an independent, compassionate woman, was pivotal to the show's success. Appearing alongside David Schwimmer, Lisa Kudrow, Courtney Cox, Matthew Perry, and Matt LeBlanc, she not only held her own in a cast of talented comedians, but became one of its standout stars. The character of Rachel was more than a comedic archetype. Her journey resonated deeply with audiences navigating their own transitions into adulthood. Whether it was her hilarious attempts to make a trifle or her heartfelt scenes of heartbreak and growth, Aniston brought vulnerability and charm to the role. Rachel's layered personality, part glamour, part awkward relatability, helped cement her as one of television's most beloved characters. The now iconic Rachel haircut became a global trend in the mid-1990s, a testament to the actress's influence beyond the screen. Aniston's appeal wasn't limited to the show's scripts. Off-camera, she became a symbol of accessibility in an industry often seen as distant and unapproachable. While her natural beauty and polished style made her the envy of many, she also exuded an approachable girl-next-door quality. This balance of glamour and authenticity was rare in Hollywood's elite circles, making her a favorite not just among fans but also among producers and directors eager to capitalize on her universal likability. As Friends dominated primetime television and pop culture conversations, high-profile studios began vying for Aniston's talent. They recognized that America's sweetheart, already adored in living rooms worldwide, could translate that affection into box office success. Aniston, however, was careful not to be pigeonholed. Rather than rely solely on her TV fame, she used her downtime between Friends seasons to explore different genres and roles, testing her range and building a foundation for a film career. One of her early ventures was the 1997 romantic comedy Picture Perfect, in which she starred as Kate, a young advertising executive eager to impress her boss. The film's plot revolved around a classic rom-com device. Kate pretends to be engaged to a man she's barely met to give herself an edge at work. While the movie itself wasn't a critical darling, it received mixed to negative reviews and has since faded into relative obscurity. It was an important stepping stone. It demonstrated that Aniston could carry a film and brought her face to moviegoers outside of Thursday night television. For audiences, even a forgettable film was a chance to see their favorite TV star on the big screen. The significance of Picture Perfect wasn't in its critical acclaim, but in its timing. In 1997, Friends was at the height of its popularity, and Aniston's presence alone could draw audiences to theaters. Studios saw the potential. Here was a fresh, bankable star with a built-in fan base. Even if the film itself didn't endure, Aniston's performance further solidified her as a versatile actress, capable of blending charm, humor, and emotional sincerity. At the time, Aniston was not only America's sweetheart but also dating actor Tate Donovan, who many fans will later remember for his role as Joshua on Friends. As Picture Perfect began casting, Aniston reportedly pushed for Donovan to be given the leading man role. It wasn't just about helping a boyfriend's career. Donovan's easygoing charm and their real-life chemistry would, in her view, have made the romantic angle feel natural. The studio, however, had other plans. Jay Moore, who was beginning to make a name for himself after a stint on Saturday Night Live and a few minor film roles, was chosen instead. This decision didn't sit well with Aniston, and according to Moore, it created a frosty environment from day one. In a 2011 episode of his podcast More Stories, the actor described an uncomfortable early encounter that set the tone for the rest of the shoot. Moore recalled that Aniston, clearly frustrated with the casting choice, made her feelings unmistakably public. As she's walking toward us to walk past us, she's pointing to co-star Illeana Douglas and she goes, "6 guys they screen tested. 6! And then points at me and goes, "The one expletive guy I hate, that's the guy they hire. Him." The remark, as Moore tells it, was brutal, especially for an up-and-coming actor eager to prove himself opposite one of television's biggest stars. It wasn't merely a passing comment. Moore suggested that Aniston's resentment lingered throughout the shoot, making their on-screen chemistry more a triumph of acting than a reflection of any real-life camaraderie. He described days on set that felt chilly, with interactions that were strictly professional, even strained. For a romantic comedy that depended on playful energy between its leads, such tension could have been disastrous. Yet, despite any personal discomfort, the film was completed, and Aniston's professionalism in front of the camera ensured that most audiences never suspected the friction behind the scenes. The situation reveals an intriguing contrast between Aniston's carefully curated public image and the more complex realities of human emotion. To fans, she was Rachel Green, the bubbly, fashionable, good-natured friend viewers invited into their living rooms every Thursday night. In interviews, she projected warmth, humor, and approachability, quickly becoming Hollywood's golden girl. But as Moore's story suggests, even beloved stars can have moments when their personal feelings influence their work environment. Perhaps Aniston's frustration was less about Moore himself and more about disappointment. She had imagined sharing this milestone film with someone she trusted intimately, only to watch that possibility slip away. Tate Donovan's absence may have added another layer of emotional complexity. Donovan and Aniston's relationship was serious at the time, and she reportedly saw him as the perfect fit for Picture Perfect. Donovan himself was no stranger to Hollywood politics and might have understood the realities of casting decisions, but for Aniston, the rejection could have felt like a personal slight, especially given her rising star power. Seeing Moore step into the role she envisioned for her boyfriend may have been a bitter pill to swallow, and that sentiment, consciously or not, could have shaped her interactions with her co-star. In a 2011 episode of his podcast More Stories, Moore opened up about the extent of Aniston's alleged hostility. He claimed she didn't just privately grumble about his casting, she openly told others on set that she thought he was unworthy of the part. "I realize she's been telling these people, 'I'm a piece of dog,'" Moore said, recounting what he pieced together from their behavior. "And she can't believe I got the part." According to him, she even pointed to his performance after a scene wrapped and told onlookers, "See? Like, see what I mean? How terrible this all is." Such public disparagement, Moore suggested, cut deeply, not just because of the embarrassment, but because he was at a pivotal moment in his career. For Moore, Picture Perfect was supposed to be a breakthrough. After years of grinding as a stand-up comedian and doing bit parts in television and film, he had finally been entrusted with a romantic leading man role opposite one of the most famous actresses in the world. He was number 2 on the call sheet, a position he had never imagined occupying so soon. To be greeted not with camaraderie but with open disdain was devastating. The hostility reportedly took such a toll on him that he considered abandoning the set altogether. As Moore told his audience, the emotional strain reached a breaking point one weekend during production. Feeling utterly demoralized, he left the set, drove from New York City to his parents' home in Verona, New Jersey, and broke down. "Jennifer Aniston was so mean to me," he said, "that on the weekend I drove to Verona, New Jersey to my mom and dad's house. I put my head in my mother's lap, and I cried. The image of an aspiring star, one who had finally grasped the brass ring, reduced to tears in his childhood home, is striking. Moore recalled that his mother, seeing her adult son in such distress, feared something catastrophic had happened. "My mom thinks I'm like HIV positive. I've killed someone," he said, using dark humor to illustrate how deeply shaken she believed he must have been. But the truth, as he told it, was simply that the emotional cruelty of a colleague had left him gutted. "I go, she's so mean. I finally got a leading role, a romantic leading man in a movie. I'm number 2 on the call sheet. That's impossible, and she's just so mean." The anecdote underscores how vulnerable even seemingly confident performers can feel. Hollywood may glitter with fame and fortune, but it is also a place where egos, insecurities, and power dynamics can collide in brutal ways. For Moore, this wasn't merely about hurt feelings, it was the crushing of a long-awaited moment. To finally reach a point in his career where studios believed in him enough to cast him opposite Jennifer Aniston, only to feel unwanted and disrespected by her, was a painful blow. From the outside, Aniston's behavior, as described by Moore, seems completely out of step with her public persona. Known for her friendliness in interviews and her infectious humor, she had become a beloved fixture in American pop culture. Yet, the situation with Moore offers a reminder that actors, like anyone else, can act out of frustration or disappointment, especially under the high-stakes pressure of a major film production. Aniston had reportedly wanted her then-boyfriend, actor Tate Donovan, to take the role. When the studio chose Moore instead, it may have felt to her like a missed opportunity for personal and professional synergy. Her reported resentment, consciously or not, spilled into her treatment of Moore. The environment on Picture Perfect could hardly have been easy to navigate. Romantic comedies rely on the audience believing in the spark between their leads, and creating that illusion often demands trust and chemistry behind the scenes. With that trust fractured, Moore was left to forge ahead, determined to give the best performance he could. His ability to do so, despite the emotional strain, demonstrates a kind of quiet professionalism that doesn't always make headlines. For Moore, telling the story years later wasn't about revenge so much as catharsis and perspective. By 2011, both he and Aniston had weathered the highs and lows of Hollywood careers, and he could recount the episode with a mix of humor and lingering disbelief. His choice to share the memory publicly also reflects a broader shift in how audiences engage with celebrities. Fans now crave unfiltered, behind-the-scenes truths, even when they complicate the images they've cherished for decades. It's worth noting that Aniston has not publicly responded to Moore's version of events, and without her perspective, the full truth will likely remain a matter of interpretation. People evolve, and behaviors from decades earlier may not reflect who they are today. Still, Moore's account resonates because it feels so human. An insecure young actor, a superstar under pressure, and a workplace dynamic that spiraled into hurt feelings. The emotional fallout also speaks to the fragility of dreams in Hollywood. For every polished rom-com ending that unfolds on screen, there are countless unseen struggles. The arguments over casting, the bruised egos, and the quiet moments of doubt that even the most confident performers endure. Moore's tears in his mother's lap weren't just about a single bad interaction. They were about the weight of expectation, the fear of failure, and the heartbreak of discovering that success doesn't always feel the way you thought it would. What do you think about the relationship between Jay Moore and Jennifer Aniston? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.